Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, I join you each week from my beautiful kitchen, but you know, I thought I would bring you today as I get ready to do all of my shopping, as I always do at our friendly Fresh Market Grocery right here in Augusta. You know, they sponsor the show for us each week, and I am just absolutely so fond of everybody that works with me over here at the store. So, we've got some really fun things planned for tonight. I'm actually going to make all of the food tonight out of the Fresh Market Cookbook. So let's see, what does my list say? We've got a shrimp and rice salad. I'm doing farfalle with arugula, and then a peach pecan shortcake. And like I said, all of the ingredients and everything are right here. So we're gonna run inside, and I'm gonna work with some of my friendly faces in here, and we're gonna get everything we need for tonight's show. Let's go in. Hey, Joe.
Oh, hey, Miss Vera. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great.
I'm always so glad to see you, Joe.
Yeah.
You're always so helpful when I'm in here, and I love it when I've got a recipe that's going to use something in the produce department.
Oh.
And you might be interested in the fact that I'm making recipes for the show tomorrow out of the Cooking in Season book that the Fresh Market produced.
Yeah.
And there's some really great recipes in here. So one of the ones that I'm making uses fresh arugula, but not for a salad. I'm going to cook it. So do you have it other than in the bags in your department?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Right here.
Oh, wow.
And it's
That looks beautiful, isn't it? Well, I need 2 bunches of that.
Okay.
Perfect. And, you know, like I said, this is not going to be a salad this time. I'm going to actually cook this. So this is something new for me. So I'm really excited to try it. And, you know, you tell me a lot of times that Patsy, your wife, that you all love to watch the show.
Oh, we
so
do.
I want to kind of give a shout out to Patsy. You know, we're happy that you're watching the show, and your husband is doing a great job with helping me on things for the show. Gosh, what is this? Is this something new?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's bunch spinach, fresh.
Oh, wow, that looks wonderful. Well, like I said, you always have everything looking really great. So I'm going to run over to the seafood department and get some shrimp. So we'll see you soon, Joe. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Good seeing you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Shopping for the show.
That's good.
As I always am doing this time.
We appreciate it.
Well, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I thought you might like to know that I'm doing recipes out of the Cooking in Season Fresh Market Cookbook.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Oh,
it really
wow.
is. So.
I'm telling you, I am so excited about it. And I pulled a couple of new things to do. And Joe just helped me in the produce department with some beautiful, fresh.
Joe's great.
He is. And I'm headed to seafood.
Well, good.
But I just want to thank you so much for the support you guys give us here.
Well, we thank you. I mean, it's been a great, you know, relationship. We get lots of customers that come in and talk about the recipes that you cooked on, you know, on the show, and ask for those items. And so it's been really good. I mean, you know, certain items that you've cooked have really taken off in the store as well.
Well, you and I have joked before about people saying, she actually really shops in there. So I really do, even when I'm not shopping for the show. So thanks again so much for everything.
You're
and I'm going to head over here and get some great shrimp.
All right, have a great day. See you later.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Miss Vera.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Okay, I'm great, and I'm shopping for the show tomorrow, and I'm doing a dish that uses fresh shrimp. So, do you recommend this Georgia shrimp?
Yes, ma'am. That's the best shrimp we carry.
Well, it looks so fresh and great. I'm going to need about a pound of that.
Okay.
Daniel, you probably do this so much that you don't even have to use those scales.
Yes, ma'am.
I know this time of year people love fresh shrimp. And what fish do you sell a lot of this time of year?
The halibut.
The halibut.
Yes, ma'am.
We've done that a couple of times on the show too. Well, this shrimp is going to be really great, and I know sometimes people get in a hurry and don't have time to cook it themselves, and I see you have it already cooked.
Yes, ma'am. We have it already cooked
as well. Y'all are so helpful always. Thank you, Daniel.
Welcome.
I'm going to go pick up a few more things, and I'll be at the checkout.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, Miss Vera.
Hey, Nancy.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm shopping for the show.
Oh,
Got
this is
another really awesome
awesome
show planned. Making some recipes out of you guys' cookbook.
Oh, well, that is great news.
I know. So it's going to be really fun, really interesting.
Yes.
And you know, it's just always so nice. You're always so interested in what I'm doing.
Yes, I am.
And it makes shopping that much more pleasurable, Nancy.
Thank you. We enjoy having you here, and thank you for shopping with us.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Okay, well,
all right.
Nancy, thanks. I'll see you next week.
Yes.
And for all of you, you need to follow me now. I'm headed to the kitchen, and we're going to get started on making all these wonderful dishes. had the best time shopping with you guys yesterday at the Fresh Market. You know, I love when it's time to shop for the show, and although I shop in there quite a bit, yesterday I had the best time with Joe, my buddy in the produce department, Daniel in seafood. Tony met me while I was in the store and was just as great as always. And then Nancy checked me out. And so now I've got everything together and we're ready to get started on these recipes out of the Fresh Market cookbook there. So now I'm making a wonderful rice salad with shrimp and fresh basil and cherry tomatoes and a great dressing. So I've got some salted water boiling on top of the stove, and these are those Georgia coastal shrimp that Daniel picked out special for me. So I'm putting those down in the boiling water, and I'm actually gonna turn the heat off and just put the lid back on. And because they're already out of the shell, it's not gonna take but just a couple of minutes for those to get just exactly where I want them to be. So while that's on the stove, we went ahead prior to the show and got the rice already prepared. And this is arborio rice. And now it looks like that shrimp is just about ready. Let's see. Yep, floated up to the top, nice and white. So I'm gonna take that over and pour it in the colander. Ooh, that's gonna be just great. And now I'll get started on the dressing for the salad. And as you can see, the rice is a little on the sticky side. This is the same rice that you use to make risotto. So it's gonna fluff up when we put the dressing on. So the dressing uses olive oil, white wine vinegar, and I'm using all of the Fresh Market brands for this, some red pepper flakes, and salt. And I'm just gonna whisk this together. Really nice and light, just enough of the red pepper flakes to give it a little bit of a kick. And then the cherry tomatoes that Joe was nice enough to find for me, I'm gonna go ahead and add a few of those to the salad now, to the rice, and just toss those around. And then a little bit of this dressing, not all of it, but just enough to moisten that rice just a little bit. It's a really pretty color. And one of the things about a rice salad is that you always want to let that rice come to room temperature before you serve it. It shouldn't be completely stone cold. You want the flavors to go through. And I like leaving these oblong cherry tomatoes, you know, so there'll be a little bit of bulk to that. All right, so we've got a nice combination so far. The other ingredient that makes this salad really nice and fresh for spring and summer is fresh basil. And as always, especially this time of year, you might not even find the basil where all of the other seasonings are. A lot of times at the Fresh Market, they will put them on the display with the tomatoes because that's everybody's favorite to use with fresh tomatoes. So I'm just gonna coarsely ground up the fresh basil because that's gonna go on right at the last minute, but honestly, I just love the aroma. So I love to go ahead and get a little bit of that cut up. So the last thing that we're gonna do right before we get ready to serve is add a few of those shrimp back in, then put the rest of the cherry tomatoes and then the rest of this wonderful dressing, and we're gonna have a beautiful entree salad that can be used for a light lunch or as a side dish to a meal with a wonderful steak on the grill. So come back with me after the break and we're gonna get started on a risotto, not a risotto, excuse me, we're gonna get started on an arugula dish that uses bow tie pasta, and it's also really bright and beautiful. So come back with me in just a few moments.
All right, we're getting ready for another dinner party in my home, and I want to make sure that everything's just right. Most of us have like a powder room or a guest bathroom that's nearby where the entertaining is going on that guests can use. But a lot of times in my home, because of where my master bedroom is located, lots of our guests end up in this bathroom. So I want to be sure I've cleaned the countertops of everything that we use on a normal, everyday basis. And then I love to put out my pretty hand towels for guests to use. I always like to have a nice fresh flower arrangement on the counter. Make sure my soap dispenser is full. I love to have a candle lit. And then finally, make sure you put a roll of toilet tissue nearby in the water closet, so if for any reason that should run low, you don't have your guests going through your linen closet looking for more. So make sure everything is really neat and clean. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back, and I've gotten that beautiful Georgia shrimp in the refrigerator all ready for that rice salad. So it's going to be just perfect in a little bit when we get ready to display that. But all of the recipes today I'm doing out of the Cooking in Season cookbook that's right at the front door when you go in the fresh market. And you know, I've flipped through it before, but I decided to go ahead and purchase one, and I've had more fun with the recipes in here because they're done by the season. So these that I'm doing today are kind of spring and summery like. So hopefully you'll be sure to pick that book up the next time you're in and try some of these recipes. So this is a bow tie pasta and fresh arugula dish that instead of using it raw, like you know, we like a little bit of a spice green in our salads, we're going to cook this, and the pasta water is going to turn down a little bit of that spiciness in the arugula. So I've got my water boiling for the bow tie pasta, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that in, get that going, and then I've got some olive oil in my pan, and I've cut up half of a big yellow onion, and we're going to cook these onions down. And you know, a lot of these recipes do call for the olive oil, so as you're thinking about those summer and spring clothes, you know, olive oil is a little bit lighter, you know, to cook with than putting a lot of butter in the pan. It also enhances the natural flavor of whatever it is that you're cooking. So we're gonna, I'm gonna turn this to about a medium heat on these onions. And as those are cooking, I'm gonna also add a little bit of fresh minced garlic. And it was funny today when this garlic was getting cut up, you know, it does leave that smell on your fingers, and I remembered that fresh basil that I cut up for the salad, and now I've got a nice basil fragrance on my fingers. So, you know, keep a lemon or some really potent fresh herb available when you're cutting up garlic, because it really will stick with you on your fingers. Okay, so this is going to cook down for just a few minutes, and I'm going to add in a little bit of red pepper flake and some ground Italian sweet sausage. So this, you know, if you wanted this to be a vegetarian dish, of course you would leave the sausage out of it. But I love a little bit of, well, I love meat in general, so I love to put any kind of meat in my dishes because it really enhances the flavor. But this Italian sausage is really nice, and they always have it in the display case, and you can buy it by the link or get it, you know, just freshly ground like that. All right, so let me take the lid off of that. That pasta's looking really good. And then as this cooks, we're going to start adding by the bunch this fresh arugula. And they had yesterday, you know, I always buy this by the bag, but when I was in the grocery store, they had actually gotten it in fresh in bunches. So be sure to always, you know, get to know these folks that are running these departments in the grocery store, and they all have on name tags. And one of the reasons for that is they want you to get to know them. They want to help you any way they can. Joe was always helpful to me when I'm in the store, and You know, Daniel recommended which shrimp I needed to use for the salad that I was making. So let's start adding in this arugula one bunch at a time. And this is just like when you're cooking that spinach, you know, it looks like quite a bit, but the next thing you know, it's all gonna be wilted down. So I'll get just enough in there to get that stirred up. And if you've never cooked this arugula, I challenge you to do this because I think you're really gonna like. This is a different green for cooking. And some dishes that will be a little bit unusual this spring when you're having family and friends over. So just to add a little bit of liquid to this, I'm gonna take just a little bit of the juice from the pasta here, just to get a little bit, just so this will cook down. So I've got quite a bit to do with all this arugula to cook. So I will keep stirring, and when we come back from the break, we're going to display all of this, and I'm going to get started on a wonderful peach pecan shortcake. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and we have certainly had a great time tonight making recipes out of the Fresh Market in-season cookbook, and certainly in season for spring and summer in the Augusta area. We're all looking for new recipes, things that are a little different when we've got family and friends coming over. So while we were away during the break, I got both of our entree salads finished, and let's start with the rice and shrimp. I took it out of the refrigerator because, as I said, we want to make sure that it's at room temperature when you serve a rice salad. So I was able to mix a little bit more of the dressing in with the rice to make it nice and fluffy. I added the rest of the cherry tomatoes and put the shrimp in with it and just tossed it up really well. Added a little bit more of the fresh basil. The recipe called for 3 tablespoons, so you want to use that sparingly. Fresh always has a tendency to be a lot stronger than dry. So I used a little of that, saved out a couple of the bigger leaves to garnish my bowl. But as you can see, it's just a really beautiful salad. It's going to go quite a long way. The recipe says that it serves 6 people, but that would be 6 really hungry people. So if you use it as a side dish, you can almost double that amount. Okay, next we went on to the bow tie pasta with the freshly cooked arugula and the garlic and onion. So what I did there was I got the pasta cooked just al dente and mixed in a little bit of the olive oil just to get that to where it could toss really well. Then I took the prepared arugula and tossed it in with the pasta, added some freshly grated Parmesan cheese that they always have in the dairy case, the cheese case at Fresh Market already prepared for you. Added that and tossed that in, and then finally garnished the top of it with the shaved Parmesan, so it has really a beautiful look to it. Again, this recipe says that it serves quite a number of people because it does have Italian sausage in it. If you leave the sausage out, it makes for a wonderful side dish. With the sausage, it's a great entree dish. So anywhere from 6 to 12 servings, depending on if you're going to use it as an entree or a side dish. And then finally, we got the cake prepared, and this is a shortcake, so I'm using a food processor. Everything is mixed with my pulse button on my food processor. I mixed in a cup of flour, a cup of cake flour, a half a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Just pulsed that to get it mixed. Then I started adding a half a cup of the chopped pecans just to get that worked through, and then a stick of butter in 2 tablespoon increments, and I pulsed it just until it was nice and coarse looking. Then I transferred that to a glass bowl and poured in 2/3 cup of whole milk, and then just put that in my prepared pan. And when I'm spraying my pans, I always like to do that from the sink because that pan spray goes everywhere. And then I got it into a 375-degree oven for about 25 minutes. And so here we have the shortcake. And as you can see, it's a very dense cake. And a shortcake, not like any other cake, is not really all that sweet. It only had a half a cup of sugar. So the peaches that I've done for this, we actually put brown sugar on the peaches. That way I've got a really nice syrup. And you know, shortcake is not supposed to be sweet because all of the ingredients that you're putting with it is what is going to make it so sweet. So I'm going to start by just coating this shortcake with this wonderful peach syrup. And then we're just going to put some of these wonderful peaches on the top. And when the peaches aren't in season, you know, you can always pick these up in the frozen food section. But you know, we're coming up on peach season, so this is going to be a really great recipe for you to try. So I'm going to top that off with a little bit of whipped cream, and now I have a wonderful Georgia dessert to serve all spring and summer for my guests. So remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. I want to thank my friends at Flowers on Broad for the beautiful flowers, and as always, Three Monkeys for making my kitchen so inviting and welcoming. I want to welcome you back again next Saturday for another episode of the VeryVera Show. And I'm going to try this cake.